Sister Reverend Campbell as we express our love for the Cuban people, our love for their extraordinary heroes who represent the highest standard of love and commitment to their country. In January 1959, I was 12 years old, and I was taken by the fact that the Union of Postal Employees, of which my parents were active members of, was celebrating this event that occurred, and that was the victory of the Cuban people, the victory of their revolution. As I listened vicariously to the conversations that went on, I found this group of primarily African-American Unionists there at a moment, at the very moment that this epic triumph occurred, embracing it. And from that time on, by virtue of that union and my parents, I've embraced this enormous process of transformation within the Cuban people. I had the opportunity as a student, college student, to continue to follow, to read the words of its great artists, its great leaders. I have the opportunity to watch on a daily basis the enormous sacrifice that the Cuban people made in the liberation of Angola and Namibia, and celebrate that every moment as I listened to Pacifica, as I read papers on the alternative press, following every moment, whether it's the Battle of Sitakala, the great victory that led to the independence of South Africa and Namibia, and led to the further freedom that exists in Angola and Mozambique. That moment continued to reinforce my belief that some process was happening here, a process that my country was undeniably bent on destroying, and taking control, and understanding that the key word in this scenario, the key word in this expression of love and patriotism was their own sense of independence, their own sense of their own transformative sense of being in control of their own destiny. And it was simply that. It was simply that. So as I had the opportunity to work from the time that I visit Costa and Cuba and Puerto Rico at the World Social Forum in 2003, to work on behalf of the Cuban Five, to make a commitment. I'm further emboldened by the courage of not only these men, but the courage of his people, the courage of the families, the courage of the loved ones as well. To watch this, in every sense, gives me extraordinary strength, and it only even furthers my commitment to their freedom and their eventual return to their homeland. Saul Lando, someone that we miss dearly, someone who was taken on that in every breath in his body to his last breath. Last breath. With call, always trying to find out, what can we do? How can we do something on behalf of these heroic men? I remember seeing Geraldo the first time that I saw him without Saul at my back. and at my side. And since the prison officials were so used to the two of us coming there, they would immediately establish us 2 seats, one here, and another one here for Geraldo. So Saul would sit here and I would sit here. Geraldo would sit facing the prison guard. And he set up 3 seats, as he normally did, until he realized that Saul was not there physically with us, but he was there in spirit with us, as we encountered and talked about not simply that what was happening to him, but all the other things that were happening in the world. It could be about climate change. It could be about our own families. It could be about other issues in the world. That here's this extraordinary man facing the double life plus 25 years, can still be engaged in what was happening around him. As he himself not only was there, present there in the prison, he was transforming his own space. You can see, as the men who would come in there to visit us, that you could see them recognize me immediately, but at the same time, they recognized him and respected him. So here was this Cubano, as they would call him, sitting in here, in this inhuman place, in this place that was stark and cold and impersonal. Here he was at the same time, bringing some sense of himself, his own love for his country, his own passion for justice, and his own passion for peace, and bringing that and keeping that alive, and adding that or reinforcing that within the prisoners themselves. What an extraordinary experience. Each time that Saul Lando and I left there, that moment, the first thing we asked ourselves when we got in that car, and before we left that space, before we left those gates and that cold steel and barbed wire, the first thing we asked ourselves is, what else can we do? What else can we do? Let's do this. Let's read this. Let's find a way in which we can put this on YouTube. Let's do that. And that begins our mission as well. That as we leave here today, as we engage in these 5 days, the third time for these 5 days, we have to leave here understanding that we have to do more. That it is our mandate that we do more. We have to talk more. We have to engage more. I'm so happy to see my friends and brothers from Unite here, from the UK, and others. We have to go to places we have not gone and engage in ways that we have not engaged before. We have to knowing that it is a political issue and it needs our attention in every way, in every form in which we can act politically as citizens. Citizens of this country and citizens of our world. That has to be our commitment here. Nothing less than that is acceptable from us. So as we take on these 5 days and continue our dialogue and enrich each other and encourage each other and strengthen each other, we have to take the passion of that, the love of this enormous, this extraordinary country, and their commitment to justice, their commitment to their own sovereignty, their commitment to their sovereignty. Raul has said always that everything's on the table except our sovereignty. Raul Castro has said that and made that statement. And they fought for the last 50 years. We have to demand that this embargo end. We have to demand that our president do everything. That is our word as artists of the world. As artists of the world. As artists of humanity. Thank you.